Today we'll see how to write a program using bubble sort. So what do we actually do in bubble sort? So the question could be like to sort the following array in increasing order. So here in this particular example we have an array with 7 elements and they have stored in indices from 0 to 6 and the numbers are 31, 11, 16, 34, 15, 23 and 20. And the question here is to arrange these elements in increasing order. So once they are arranged or once they are sorted, this is what we want. That is, the 11 which was in the second position will come to the first, and every other elements are in the increasing order. Okay. So in bubble sort, the algorithm passes through the array items multiple times. So we actually move from one end to the other. The algorithm actually moves from one end to the other. When it moves one time from one end to the other, it's called one pass. So in this algorithm, multiple times we make multiple passes. Okay, so in the subsequent slides we will see what exactly is done in a pass, and in each of these passes what exactly is done. So that is what we are trying to understand. So once we have an idea on that, then we will move to the program. Okay, so what happens in a pass? So here in the first pass, so with this particular data, when we are doing the first pass, what happens is that we actually move the largest element to the last position. Okay, and in the second pass what we try to do is that we actually move the second largest element to the second position from the end, and in the third pass we move the third largest element to the third position from the end, and in fourth pass we move the fourth largest element to the fourth position from the end, and in the fifth pass it's about the fifth highest element, and in the sixth pass we move the sixth highest element to the sixth position from the end. So as we see here, we just have one element left, so we don't have this, we can't actually place a wrong element here. So with the sixth pass we'll have actually a fully sorted array. Okay, so what we can see here is that one element is moved to its correct position after a pass. So here 34 has been moved to its correct position after the first pass, after that 31, then 23, 20, 16 and 15. Okay, and the data size here in our example we have 7 elements. Okay, so the data size is 7. So in this we have an array called data and the size of that is 7. Okay, so we'll move to the rest of the details with an example. Okay, we'll see what exactly is happening in each of these passes, or how at the end of pass 1 how do we make sure that the number 34 comes to the extreme right. So we'll look to that in a bit more of detail. So here I have this is a spreadsheet, and we'll be moving through each of these passes: pass 1, pass 2, pass 3, pass 4, pass 5 and pass 6. We'll see it in detail in these spreadsheets. Okay, so this is our initial case. We have our data, our array data, and this is the order in which it has been placed. And here we are in the pass 1. So at the end of pass 1, what we want is that the number 34 should actually occupy the position 6. Okay, so how is it actually done in bubble sort is what we are going to look here. Fine. Okay, so as you can see here, there are a few variables here which you will have to just note. So this one variable is swapped flag. So swapped flag is initially kept 0. So as you can see here, I have written, use the word here, comparisons. So we'll be making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 comparisons will be made. So we'll see what are those comparisons and how we'll be making those comparisons right now. Okay, so first let me just copy paste it here. Okay, so here what is the index value that is given here? Index value is 0. So what we do here is a comparison. So the index is 0. We compare 31 and 11. Is 31 less than 11? No, 31 is not less than 11. So what do? We actually swap their places. Okay, so we'll take 31 and we'll keep it here, and we'll write here 11. Okay, so that's all. In one particular step what we do is one comparison, and if the comparison based on the comparison we decide if we have to make a swap or not make a swap. Okay, so here what's the index that is given here? Index given here is 1, and what we check, actually basically what we are trying to do is to push the largest element towards the right. And in each of these individual cases we see if here in this particular case we have index 1, so 31 greater than 16. If 31 is greater than 16, what we have to do is that we will have to swap it. Okay, we will swap the value. So here, as 31 is greater than 16, we will swap the values here, 31. Okay, and that's the only thing that we do in that particular step, and we take those values and move to the next step. Okay, here the index is index 2. What is there in index 2? Index 2, it's 31. So is we again compare these two. 31 is less than 34. Okay, so 31 is less than 4, that is good. So we are not going to make any change here. So let me just copy these values as it is to the next step. So the index here is 3, so the element here is 34. So is 34 less than 15? No, 34 is not less than 15, so we'll have to make a swap here. Fine, so we'll just again copy this value here and we'll paste it here. And then the index given here is 4. What is the value here? 34. So is 34 is actually greater than 23, so we'll make a swap here. So we'll change it to 30 and 23 here. Okay, fine, and let's go to the next step. And in the next step here the index is 5, so 34 is actually greater than 20, so let's swap it here. Okay, so here we have actually followed a particular pattern, and at the end what has happened, the largest number, so this was our array initially, and the largest number here was 34. Okay, and at the end of pass 1 we actually wanted to push this largest number 34 towards the right, and based on all these comparisons that we have done and the swappings that we have done, this number 34 has actually reached the particular end. Okay, fine, so we'll move on to the next pass. Okay, so here we'll take the data that we had at the end of pass 1. We'll take this data here. Let me just paste it here. Okay, so this is the data when we come to pass 2. And one more thing that I do here is that we have actually done many swappings here, isn't it? So as we have done swappings in this particular pass, we will give the value of swapped flag as 1. Why are we doing it? It's for programming purposes. I'll give you the more details as we are doing the program. Okay, so here in this particular pass, there were many swappings done. So was the number of swappings done 0? No, it was more than 0. So actually we will increase, or we will change the value of swapped flag to 1. So now let's move to the next pass, and here actually you can see that the number of indexes, the number of comparison here has decreased. Here in pass 1 the number of comparison was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that was 6 comparisons. Okay, and here as we moved to the next one, the number of comparisons has decreased to 5. Why? Because here we are already sure that 34 has reached the its appropriate position. So we are not much concerned about this particular position. Index 6 is no longer a concern for us. We are concerned about the elements from 0 to 5, and our aim in pass 2 is to bring the largest number from indices 0 to 5 to position 5. And here the particular number is 31. At the end of pass 2 we want to move 31 to position 5. Okay, so as we will see, as the number of passes increases, the number of comparisons keep coming down. Okay, so in pass 2, where the first index is index 0, the comparison that we make is we want everything to be in increasing order. So is 16 greater than 11? Yes, 16 is greater than 11. So we don't make any changes. So we just copy and we'll move to the next step. So here the index is 1, index number 1. So it's 16. Is 16 less than 31? Yes, right. Okay, so it's in the right order. So we'll move to the next step. We'll paste it here. So here the index is 2. What about 31? Is 31 less than 15? No, 31 is not less than 15. So we'll have to make a swap there. we'll change the values here. So okay, so that comparison and swapping is done there, so we'll move to the next step. So here the index is 3, the value here is 31. Is 31 less than 23? No, as 31 is not less than 23, we'll make a swapping here. Okay, so that step is over. We'll move to the next step. Here the index is 4, so here 31. Is 31 less than 20? No, so we'll make a swap 20. Okay, so that is the end of pass 2. So at the end of pass 2, our aim was to bring the second largest element to the second position from the rightmost end. So that has actually happened here. Fine. So now we are going to move to pass 3, and here swapping. Did we do any swapping here? Yes, we have done swapping. So let me make it to 1. Now I'll go to swapping 3. Let me just copy these values. I have done. I'm taking this to here and here. Okay. So 34 and 31 is right. Now I want in the 4th position, I want the largest number from here. That is, I actually want to push 23 to the 4th position. Okay. So let's do that. We'll start from the first point. Here is 11. Is 11 actually less than 16? Yeah, yes, 11 is less than 16. So I don't have to do anything there specifically. So I'll move to the next step. So here index is 1, 16. Is 16 less than 15? No. So we'll have to make the swap there. Made the swap there. So that step is over. I move to the next step or the next comparison. The next comparison is at index 2 here. Is 16 less than 23? Yeah, yes. So that's fine. So we don't have to make any changes there. So after that, I paste it here. What is the index here? Index it's 3, 23 and 20. Is 23 less than 20? No. So we make a swap there. Okay, so after pass 3, we see that the number of comparisons has reduced. So here it was 6, 5, now it's 4. So with those comparisons, actually we are we are moving towards the answer. Okay, so now this is pass 4. In pass 4, actually I'm going to take this same answer and I'll just paste it here. Okay, so what is the first index given here is 0, and in index 0 is 11 less than 15? Yeah, yes, no more changes to make. And one thing I forgot, did we make any changes here? Yes, we had some one swap there, so we'll make the swap flag as 1. And what about pass 4? Okay, so we haven't made any swaps here yet. We'll see if we have to make any swaps here. Okay, so the index is 1. Is 15 less than 16? Yes, 15 is less than 16. So no changes there. And we'll do the next one, index 2. Index 2 is 16 less than 20. Yes, there is 16 is less than 20. So swap flag 0. Are we going to change that? No, we are not going to change that because we haven't made any swapping in pass number 4. So there were no swapping. So why did that happen? Because our number 11, 15, 16, 20, 23, 31 and 34 are already in order. Fine. Okay, but anyway, for completing the process, let's do pass 5 and pass 6. We'll take this. No changes here and no changes here, so swap flag is 0. And now we'll move to the last position here. So here there are no changes and swapped flag remains 0. Okay, so if we go through it once more, we have in the past one the number of comparisons were 6. There was a swapped flag. The swapped flag is having a value 1, and in past 2 the number of comparisons was reduced to 5, and there was a swap. There were swappings here. And in pass 3 the number of comparisons is 4 and there was a swap. But when we look the order here, 11, 15, 16, 20, 23, 31 and 34, it's already in order. Okay, but because it was in order, we have that pass 4 we don't have any swappings, this flag is 0, and in pass 5 it's 0, and in pass 6 it's 0. So what do we understand? If we have swapped flag when it's 0, if after any pass, if you are getting the swapped flag as 0, if there were no swappings in any of the pass, we needn't do the rest of the passes. So in our particular case, pass 5 and pass 6 were not required. Okay, so that's it. So that's about how bubble sort actually works. Okay, so we have to go back and we'll see how actually we are going to do it in terms of a program. Okay, so here this is what we have done in each of the passes. In the first pass, 34 was corrected, then 31, 23, 20, 16 and 15, and then 11, everything were corrected. And the number of comparisons, how many comparisons did we make? We knew that the number of comparisons were decreasing as the passes increased. Okay, so we can have a formula for that. So the number of comparisons is data size minus pass. Okay, so here the data size, the number of elements that we have, the data size is 7, and if we subtract 1 from that, so here 7 is the number of data that we have. So if we subtract 1, so that is the number of comparisons that we have to make. So let's see if it's right. So here how many numbers do we have? We have 7 numbers, so that is data size 7. And which is this pass? This pass is pass number 1. So we are expecting 7 minus 1, 6 comparisons here. So here the first comparison is between 0 and 1. This is 1, then it's 2, then it's 3, it's 4, 5 and 6. So we are making 6 comparisons. So that this formula for the number of comparisons should actually work for the rest of the passes as well. Okay, and what is the best case possible? So if we are making a bubble sort, and when exactly are we going to make the least amount of time to actually find a bubble sorted array? So the best case would be when the array is already sorted. Fine. So if we already have a completely sorted array, then in one turn, okay, we actually will try to swap, or we'll do the comparisons and we'll try to make the swaps, but the swapped flag will remain as 0 after the first pass. So even if it's fully sorted, we'll take one pass to ensure that it's actually a sorted one. And let's also see what's the worst case. So data size of the number of elements is 7. We will actually have 6 passes. So here in this example, what we have shown here is the worst case. So with all this in mind, let's see how the program works. So when we are writing a program, it's not just the bubble sort. We also had to write portions to actually read the values and then finally print the values. Okay, so we'll just go through these 3 sections one by one. Okay, so in the first section, we are actually trying to read the values that the user want to sort. Finally, he wants to sort it. So first of all, they have to give us the values. To enter the values, the first input that they have to give is enter the total number of elements. So if they want to sort 10 elements, they will have to enter the number 10 there. So whatever is entered here actually gets stored to the variable data size. So we have the variable data size. And then based on data size, so here we are going to store all those data to a variable that we have named data, and we are expecting at the most 100 numbers, so that's why we have given a size of 100. It could be lesser, but anyway, based on the data size, we are going to actually enter the number of values. So here for index equal to 0, index less than data size, index plus plus. So if in our example the data size was 7, so it would be index equal to 0, index less than 7, index plus plus. So the values that index will have in this loop is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And in the printf statement, we are asking enter the element index plus 1. So in the first case where index is 0, the question would be enter the element 1. So that would continue till element 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7. Okay. So and the values that we enter. So when we are entering enter the element 1, here it would be scanned to data of 0, element 2 data of 1, element 3 data of 2, and finally element 7 will be stored to data of 6. So that is the reading process, which is the first phase. After that, we are going to do the bubble sort. In bubble sort, we can see at the top this for loop which moves us through each of the passes. Okay, so the pass 1, so in our example we saw that they were pass 1 to pass 6. Okay, so here it's pass 1 and it keeps on increasing by 1, pass 1, pass 2, pass 3, pass 4, pass 5 and pass 6, because our data size is 7. So here the value of pass will keep on moving, it will keep on increasing from 1 the whole way, from 1 to 6 it will be keeping increasing. And each time when we are starting each pass, remember we kept the swapped flag as 0. Okay, so that is how we start doing it, and we kept it as 0. And now what? Now for the first case, we said that we will be making, in each cases we'll be making comparisons. How many comparisons? We'll be making comparisons till data size minus pass. Okay, data size minus pass is the number of comparisons that we are making. Here index is starting from 0, so we will give index less than data size minus pass. Okay, so in case we have to make 5 passes or 6 passes, that will be taken care of with these two statements. Okay, so index equal to 0, index less than data size minus pass, and index plus plus. So then what do we do here? This is actually the comparisons actually is happening here. So here if we look, if data of index is greater than data of index plus 1, so what has happened there? If an element at the left is actually greater than the element towards the right, okay, so if there is such a case, we are going to do a swap. Okay, so for swapping we first store this particular value to a temporary value, and once we have this value stored into a data into a temporary variable, we then copy the right variable to the left one. So data index equal to data of index plus 1. So for that moment, at this moment, both data index and data index plus 1 is having the same value, but as we have stored the data in temp, we have no problem. So here to swap, we will write data of index plus 1 equal to temp. So in these 3 steps, the swapping has already happened. So when swapping changes, or when a swap has happened, we'll have to change the swapped flag to 1. Okay, so this will this for loop actually will move from one end to the other. Okay, for a pass we'll have a specified right limit, so from one end to that particular limit, this particular comparison will keep on running. Okay, so at the end of one pass we check, is the swapped flag 0? If swapped flag is 0, we will actually move out of these comparisons and we will move to the third phase. Okay, and if it's not equal to 0, we'll actually go back. We'll actually, after completing pass 1, we'll go to pass 2, then pass 3, then pass 4, pass 5 and pass 6. But in our case, if you remember, after pass 4, the swapped flag value was 0. So in this particular case, the program will work with only pass 1, pass 2, pass 3 and pass 4, and at the end of pass 4 it will actually break this loop. There won't be comparisons for 5, there won't be any pass 5 or pass 6, because we are using this if statement. And what is the final step? The final step is about printing the sorted elements. So for that we just write the printf, the sorted elements are there, and we give the ordinary, the index equal to 0, index less than data size, index plus plus, and then we print those values one by one. So that's it about bubble sort. So initially we have looked to what is bubble sort. We have gone in detail towards the algorithm of bubble sort, or how things work with bubble sort, and finally we have looked to a program. So I have actually written this program in VS Code. So let's see the code. The code actually is pretty small. I just have around 48 lines with all these enough spaces and indentations. So we'll just try running it. Let me see. Yeah. So let me just run it. So they're asking for the total number of elements. So let me just give a big number 10. So we'll give with higher numbers towards the beginning, 67, 76, 56, 34 and 1 and 0, and let me give a negative number. Okay, and I'll also try giving the same number, say 54. I'll give a 100 and possibly a minus 444. Okay, So the sorted elements are minus 44, 444, minus 43, 0, 1, 32. Then there are 254, 76, 98 and 100. So the program is actually working fine. Okay, so well, that's it about the bubble sort. Okay, thank you.